Hey guys, Norm with Bearable Traders. Quick recap for Monday, October 7th, 2019. I had two trades today. One of them was a little bit of a mess, and I'll go into it real quick. It was my first one. SDC was gapping up this morning on news of a couple of upgrades, and it's sold off a little bit in the pre-market right before the open. I thought it was going to get a bounce. It started to come up a little bit. So in the second minute, I went ahead and took a long. 15-ish is when I got in. Except something happened with my hotkeys, and they upped my hotkey pad updated this morning. So it actually took it short in some weird share size. And I looked at it and I realized that it was neither the number of shares nor the direction of the move I was trying to get. You can tell a long would not have worked out. I would have been stopped out, no doubt. So I took that off immediately I took it off the table. Luckily, I got a few dollars out of it. But I just couldn't figure out what was going on. Then I remembered that earlier my keypad had updated. So I shut everything down, turned off my computer, restarted everything, rebooted everything, and I was concerned it wasn't going to work. It looked like things were correct, but I really didn't have a way to know until I took a trade. So then came back, and a few minutes later I saw Apple had sold off a little bit at the open. It was below VWAP at this point. And then it came back up, came back to retest VWAP. And as soon as it did, I saw a potential entry for a long here. So, there was decent volume coming in at the start. And then every time it sold off, it was getting bought right back up at that like 226.50-ish level or so. I took two entries into this. Part of the reason was something Andrew discussed in his recap today, because he tried to trade on Apple that didn't work out for him. Actually, he tried it 2 or 3 times, I believe, and got stopped out. And I just know that when you trade something, especially in the volatile period in the morning, that is, $200, $225, you have to put a wide stop on it. So my stop was right below low of day. And his first entry was around 226.50, and I adjusted, and I had a tiny share size for that exact reason. So I took the entry, realized my hotkey did exactly what it was supposed to that time, and I waited to see what would happen. And as it came back down, it bounced right back off this moving average on the 5, which I noticed is where it wicked above before. So I went ahead and ended up taking the rest of a full position here. Let it chop around. I set a hard stop on this, which I rarely do, especially at the open, but I knew I would be tempted because my stop was so far away, even though my risk was still fine and in check and in line with my R's. I knew that I would, it would test me if it came down and tested this low. So I just went ahead and put a stop on 1 cent below that at 225.83 is where my stop was. And let it do what it was going to do. It was strong. The SPY was selling off hard at the open this morning. You can see here the SPY looked really weak out of the gate, was gapping down, I believe, about 1/3%, and then started selling off on pretty decent volume. And so Apple relatively was strong. And I realized that it was holding up despite the SPY cratering. If the SPY could turn around a little bit, it would give Apple some gas. So it did exactly that. As it passed through previous day close, I took a partial. As it passed through, this was Friday's high, I took another partial. And then I waited for this 228.23 level, which you can see on a daily. We traded this last week, and I did a recap on it, which was the top of this. So I waited for my third partial to see if it could break that. Once we did that, I knew we were kind of off to the races, and I started partialing up as the momentum slowed through that pop. And then we sat here in this consolidation period at 229, and I was watching the tape, and it looked like this was going to go through. I was talking about it in the room. I think this is going to go. The second I get out of this, it's going to go through it. And that's how it works. That's how the stock market works. The second you close a position, it goes in your favor. So it's a bad way of thinking. It's how a lot of people let stops go and don't get stopped up properly when they should. Is they know it'll turn around the second I close it out. But in reality, it happens. I saw this. It was this flat top. It was this ascending triangle here. Getting bought up each time, and then finally it burst through, and I'd had enough anyway. I only had like 10% of my original size, so it wouldn't have made a huge difference anyway. So anyway, guys, trade safe, be smart. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.